Deconstructing Introductions, the research problem or involved issue. This video is part 4 of the Deconstructing Introduction series, a series intended to train you in the art of crafting the 7 elements of an introduction for research writing. Because research writing is a problem-solution genre, research writers should write to solve a problem that is significant to the target readers while making an argument related to their object of study. The research problem is a broader, contentious, or often overlooked issue about which the scholars disagree, and it grounds the significance of your argument as you acknowledge how your answer to the research question intersects and solves the broader problem. As the authors of The Craft of Research note, every problem consists of a condition and its consequences or costs. However, some consequences or costs are owing to a tangible condition in the world, and others to a misunderstanding of how something is in the world. One can distinguish between these two kinds of problems as practical and conceptual problems. Practical problems involve an adverse condition that results in tangible consequences or costs. Consider this example. The condition of this practical problem is that membership in SBC churches is declining. The tangible cost of this practical problem is that baptisms and conversions are also declining, and church buildings are falling into disrepair. Note how the condition is a practical concern and the costs are several negative tangible effects. Conceptual problems, on the other hand, involve a misunderstanding that results in an even more significant misunderstanding. Consider this example. The condition of this conceptual problem is that critics have regularly misunderstood the purpose of the void in the Silmarillion. The cost of this conceptual problem is that critics fail to recognize the authorial goals latent in the Silmarillion, as well as the purpose of Tolkien's Middle-earth. Note how the condition is a misunderstanding, and the cost is an even greater misunderstanding. Categorizing which problem you intend to address will help you assess whether you're writing about something the target audience will consider significant. For instance, the conceptual problem about the Silmarillion would probably be best for a target audience of Tolkien scholars, since the cost probably matter more to them and less to the average reader. Whereas the practical problem about church membership would probably suit experts studying religious trends or practitioners in local churches, like elders or deacons. Regardless of which problem you choose to address, good researchers always clarify what is at stake if readers do not understand or adopt their argument or line of reasoning. The writer should locate the research problem close to the research question, since without it, the readers may not recognize the significance of the narrow analysis question. They may likely be asking themselves, so what, or who cares? The research problem, then, would hint at that so what and give them a reason to care. Consider this example. Imagine I were answering this research question. How do urea fertilizers and other nitrogen additives in farming impact the pH of various soils? Now, only a very specialized audience will likely regard that question as significant without hinting at a so what. However, note what happens when I add, this analysis question addresses the broader issue of explaining why the death rate in Johnson County has quintupled in the last 3 years, while the population has declined by 55%. Now we are dealing with something significant. Most readers would acknowledge the significance of the argument when told that answering the question will explain why so many people have died. For the purposes of the introduction, it is sufficient to simply illustrate or allude to the broader research problem like I have done here. My audience would only read an elaborated solution to the research problem in the conclusion. In the introduction, writers frame the research problem as an allusion to or illustration of what is at stake. However, they discuss at length how the argument offers a potential solution to the research problem in the conclusion, ending with an explanation of the so what. As you read sources about your object of study, look for concrete examples of what may be at stake if someone were to get the answer to your question wrong. What you discover may prove to be the research problem that will ground your argument in significance. Also, as you are reading, look for gaps in the scholarly conversation, areas where the scholars overlook some implications of their arguments, or fail to make connections to other related and significant topics. How does misunderstanding your topic affect other topics, arguments, or issues? Remember that the best research projects seek to find a gap that scholars have overlooked or inadequately solved. The research problem truly is at the heart of research writing. As a problem-solution genre, the research essay not only answers a question by curating reasons and evidence, but also addresses a problem by assessing alternatives and proposing a solution. This is why research writers must research the broader problem about which the scholars disagree to show the relation of their argument to the broader conversations in the field. Thus, research writing is not just about proving your answer to the research question. It also requires you to understand and evaluate the scholarly conversations related to your research problem and connect your argument to a possible solution. Thank you for watching this video on crafting the research problem or involved issue. To continue the series in sequence, look for the next video on the literature review or scholarly conversation. Or, if you have questions or would like help on one of these specific introductory elements, please feel free to skip ahead to the corresponding video. Thank you, and keep writing.